So I think the biggest misconception that dog owners have around dog-to-dog introductions is that they expect dogs to get along relatively well the first time. And I think that there's a lot of pressure on dogs to forcibly meet another dog when they're out walking. Lots of times people are bringing dogs to dog parks that don't necessarily even really have the desire to be there. And so I think that's one misconception. Another misconception is that most owners don't necessarily know how to read body language of their own dog, let alone interactions between two dogs. There's a lot going on for the eye to detect, and lots of times they might be reading the situation incorrectly.
Yeah, I really kind of agree with you. I mean, it's so much pressure, and we want it always to go well, and we hold dogs to such a high standard when we're having those first interactions. And sometimes it's not the first interaction that's the one that actually makes the impact, but we're reading so much into that first meet, and then we make a determination right at that point when sometimes it takes them walking, getting some of that pent-up energy out, kind of just if we're at the event, it takes us some time to get comfortable and relaxed in our environment. Same with the dog. In their first meeting, there's a lot of internal emotions going through, and sometimes allowing that to dissipate by letting them do a parallel walk really helps them form a better connection and allows to alleviate some of that initial stress. But sometimes the general public doesn't allow that opportunity to happen because they're so worried about the consequences of what would happen if it did go wrong. What I see when I first got into the industry of working in shelters with veterinarians is a common misconception with veterinarians allowing dogs to interact was really that I think they were scared of what the outcomes could be, and they knew if the animals didn't go into play groups, if they didn't have interaction meetings in a shelter environment where it's really stressful, they didn't have to worry about the injuries that could come about. But as I've been in the industry, just as we're learning more about behavior, it's progressing more and more that veterinarians are actually encouraging us to do play groups and helping us to facilitate it in a safe manner, helping to control the population of if diseases were to spread and how to mitigate that, because the benefit outweighs any potential risk of a confrontation happening, because they're not treating kennel cough as much because there's not as much stress. There's not treating diarrhea as much. There's not worrying about this dog's not eating or not doing well, because we're really addressing a lot of that by allowing play groups to happen, by co-housing animals, and by walking them together on enrichment walks.